The Gay Agenda, Political Conspiracies, Conversion Therapy. Previously, 1973, the American Psychiatric Association decided that homosexuality is not a mental disorder. It never was a medical decision. It was a political move.
Political stances seem to override any scientific results.
In this episode, we will review the effect of LGBT political activism overriding medical science and its impact on client-centered therapeutic choice for LGBT persons and mental health professionals.
It's now considered unethical to treat homosexuality.
Political correctness rules, not science.
The entire field has become so politicized, and there's really now only one correct point of view that you're allowed to have without paying a high professional or academic price.
How has this one-sided narrative affected Singapore? In May 2020, nominated MP Ms. Anthea Ong asked whether the Ministry of Health would consider stating an official position against conversion therapy.
The Singapore Psychological Society current research indicates the inefficacy and possible harmful effects of conversion therapy.
Local LGBT activist Hacking Unicorn, medical professionals agree that conversion therapy at best has no scientific basis and at worst causes harm on participants. Is this true? The American Psychological Association reported recent studies do not provide valid causal evidence of the efficacy of SOCE, sexual orientation change efforts, or of its harm. In November 2020, the US Court of Appeals was presented with documents claiming alleged harm caused by SOCE. When examined closely, these documents offer assertions rather than evidence. The American Psychological Association found a complete lack of rigorous recent prospective research on SOCE. The report concludes it has no clear indication of the prevalence of harmful outcomes among people who have undergone SOCE. Conversion therapy causes harm on participants. Why do LGBT activists propagate such claims?
First, what is conversion therapy? We believe, note that phrase, it has the potential to cause harm. Why do therapy professionals consider it unethical? We believe it would be irresponsible and potentially damaging. What does research tell us about conversion therapy? We believe that it would be likely to reinforce the notion that these feelings are wrong or abnormal. These answers are not scientific answers. They are ideological. Science has been replaced by ideology.
Do you agree? What happens to people who offer help to those who want out of homosexual desires? Our primary objective is to cow and silence them as far as possible.
Und es ist sehr, sehr schwierig, über unsere Arbeit offen zu sprechen. Dann gibt es Proteste, Politiker, die protestieren, homosexuellen Verbände, die protestieren, erfahren tatsächlich auch viel Anfeindung von Hassmails natürlich, über Bedrohungen, über Demonstrationen gegen uns und so weiter.
In favor of gay rights, the intransigents will eventually be effectively silenced by both law and polite society. How do we see this playing out in Singapore?
In May 2021, LGBT activist organizations Uga Jaga and Pink.sg urged the Singapore government to explicitly prohibit all clinical practices that seek to change one's sexual orientation and/or gender identity.
Hacking Unicorn proposed prohibit medical professionals from suggesting, endorsing, or prescribing conversion therapy practices. Ban conversion therapy. Why would local LGBT activists advocate for such a ban? Lynette Chua wrote, "Gay activists in Singapore treat the choices between legality and illegality as merely tactical and use it scrupulously to seek social change in face of its power and control." Ban conversion therapy to effect social change. Is this ethical? How would such a ban impact LGBT persons, healthcare professionals, or Singapore society? The Singapore Academy of Law published Conversion Therapy Bans by Darius Lee. Bans on conversion therapy infringe upon numerous aspects of individual or group autonomy. Given the lack of conclusive evidence of harm and that at least some people receive or perceive a benefit from voluntary participation in talk therapy, a ban which limits individuals' choices of voluntary therapy options cannot be easily justified. Should people have the right to freedom of therapeutic choice?
Everyone should have the right to walk away from sexual practices or gender experiences that don't fulfill them or work for them. No one should take away their freedoms and rights.
Brian Shen, free choice must always be respected. Pastor Ian To, True Love Is supports the right of people who seek help voluntarily with competent helping professionals and religious leaders of their choice.
For people that have been struggling in their life with same-sex attraction, banning that therapy would be an abuse of human rights.
Do you agree? Conversion therapy. Ever thought of how LGBT activism may have influenced your perspective? In the next episode, we will review affirmative treatment.
Follow us on